Welcome, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Redenbaugh, the president of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters Board of Directors. Thanks for tuning in to our 2020 Green Tie Awards. Some of you may have been to every Green Tie event. Others may be completely new to our work. And surely some are wondering, what the heck is a Green Tie Award? You're all here for different reasons, but whatever brought you here, we're glad you're taking some time to get involved with 27 days to go before this very important election. The Green Tie Awards is our annual event to celebrate leaders who have acted to protect every North Carolinian's right to clean air, clean water, and clean energy. Normally, we'd be meeting in person in Raleigh in May, and we hope we will again next year. But normally, we wouldn't be able to get all the great speakers you'll hear from tonight in one room. So we're taking the opportunity a virtual event provides to bring our work to more people. To help us do that, please invite your friends to watch along with you. If you're watching on Swell, just click the Share Now button above the video. If you're watching on Facebook, click the share button below. Make sure to use the Green Tie hashtag throughout the night. Over the next hour, you'll hear from Governor Roy Cooper, United States Senator Cory Booker, a youth climate activist, our community organizers from across the state, our national president, and 4 amazing state legislators who we are giving awards tonight. But first, here's the premiere broadcast of a short video that explains who we are and what we do.
Accountability, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. Who do we hold accountable for the failure to protect public health, for the deadly chemicals in our drinking water, for the assault on our democracy? Of course, we are all responsible, and many of us live up to those responsibilities. But not everyone does. When polluters and politicians threaten our quality of life, someone has to hold them accountable. That has been our work for more than 50 years. The North Carolina League of Conservation Voters works at the intersection of environmental protection and political action. We build a political environment that protects our natural environment and our people. We think of our work as an ongoing cycle of accountability. We advocate for strong environmental policies, which you amplify when you contact your legislators to let them know where you stand. Legislators know we are always keeping score of their votes and that we let you, their constituents, know their record in our annual scorecard. We endorse pro-environment candidates so you stay informed before you vote, and then we talk to voters across the state to push for the election of those candidates. As new leaders take office, the cycle continues. In the halls of power, we are always there to advocate for you. But the cycle of accountability requires your participation. We need your help to keep fighting for clean air, clean water, and clean energy for all North Carolinians. Join this fight. Renew your membership today. Together, we will protect North Carolina from the mountains to the coast for generations to come.
Good evening. I'm Nina Schlossberg-Landis, and I'm a longtime member of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters Board of Directors. As you just saw, the cycle of accountability is at the heart of what we do. We know it is not enough to care deeply about climate change and environmental protection. We must use the power of our ballots to hold our leaders accountable and vote our environmental values. That's our mission. And we thank you for being a supporter of the important work. If you'd like to make a donation tonight to strengthen the work, it's easy. If you're watching us on Swell, just click the Donate Now button below the video. If you're watching us on Facebook, text NCLCV to 41411. Your support helps NCLCV hold our leaders accountable for the decisions that they make. There may not be a more critical time for citizen-led action in our nation's history than now. For the last 4 years, Mitch McConnell and the Trump administration have gutted a breathtaking number of environmental protections, putting our most vulnerable at risk. And many of the proactive measures the majority of Americans support, clean energy solutions, energy efficiency, transportation reform, all have been stalled by this administration. We all know our oceans are rising, Coastal communities are flooding, storms are becoming more intense, and we just endured the hottest summer in recorded history. All of that comes at a huge financial cost and human costs. It's never been more clear we must have change. Cal Cunningham is a longtime supporter of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters, and he's worked for many years protecting North Carolina's health and way of life. While in the state Senate, he championed the Clean Smokestacks bill and a moratorium on industrial hog operations in eastern North Carolina. Cal understands the very real threat climate change poses to our state, from the contours of the Outer Banks to the crops our farmers grow to our western forests. We're grateful he's here with us tonight to share his thoughts about North Carolina, the environment, and the very real need for change. Cal?
Thank you, Nina, and good evening. It's an honor to be back with you for the Green Tie event that I've enjoyed attending with you in person for so many years. LCV's work has been so important to our state, and it's been important to me personally since serving on the board. And I want to thank all the fellow North Carolinians tuning in for allowing me to be a part of this event. There's a lot we have to talk about tonight because there's a lot at stake in this election. We can all agree that this is by far the most important election of our lifetime. But before we get into the issues that most affect this campaign, I want you to hear something directly from me. I am deeply sorry for the hurt that I have caused in my personal life. And I also apologize to all of you. And I hope each of you watching at home will accept this sincere apology and that we will continue to work together to change the direction of our country and strengthen our state. Right now, we are facing some very serious challenges as a nation and as a state, as communities and as families, and we all need to work together. Look at the world around us. Look at our state. A global pandemic unlike anything we've seen in our lifetimes, and it's taken thousands of lives in North Carolina. It's left tens of thousands more sick. An economic recession that's left more than 1 million in our state out of work and hundreds of thousands without health insurance. Too many living in fear of losing the very roofs over their heads. And as we combat this crisis, 1.7 million North Carolinians living with pre-existing conditions are fearful that Republicans will be successful in their efforts to take health care protections away. The list goes on and on. These are the issues we care about. This campaign, our campaign, is about something much bigger than just me. It's about replacing a senator who doesn't stand up and fight for working families, who caves in to Mitch McConnell and the corporate interests in Washington time and time again. And because Tom Tillis knows that he is losing and knows that we are winning, he has now resorted to trying to make this campaign about something other than the issues. But we know, I know, this campaign is about your hopes and your dreams, your desire for your kids to safely attend school and your drive to reopen your small business. That's why we fight. And that's what I'm fighting for. This campaign is about the fact that many children across our state still can't go to school because Washington refuses to put plans and guidance in place based on science to deal with this global pandemic. And we're up against Senator Tom Tillis, who's been too weak to stand up to this administration in light of clear failures to respond to the crisis. This campaign, it's about fighting for those 1.7 million North Carolinians with pre-existing conditions. That's 1.7 million of our fellow citizens who could lose their health care because Tom Tillis will not stop until he eliminates the Affordable Care Act, even though he has no plan to replace it. It's about finally expanding Medicaid in North Carolina, which Tom Tillis blocked as Speaker of the House, denying coverage to hundreds of thousands of our people. This campaign is about fighting to ensure that North Carolinians have health insurance that covers prescription drugs. And we're up against one of the top recipients of Big Pharma cash in Senator Thom Tillis, who has opposed even bipartisan efforts to lower the cost of your prescriptions. This campaign, it's about economic relief and stability for families struggling in our state, including the more than 1 million North Carolinians who are out of work because of this pandemic. And because of Thom Tillis, our state has one of the stingiest unemployment benefits in the country. And in Washington, he's failed to extend jobless relief. It's about the effects of the climate crisis, which we've seen firsthand in North Carolina in the historic storms and flooding that have ravaged our state. And this group knows better than most what we're up against in our efforts to fight this crisis. A senator who has taken over $500,000 from the oil and gas industry while advocating for drilling off of our coast. These are the things that matter to North Carolinians in this election. Now, I urge you to look at the folks around us at this moment, because we need to win this election for them, for each other. And if we want to keep our families safe and healthy, we have to think about this election as our one and our only opportunity to course correct for them. These are the issues I've heard you raise with me in conversation after conversation across our great state. And they're the issues I will continue to talk about day in and day out, that I'm fighting for day in and day out. I will not get sidetracked, and I hope you won't either. The stakes are just too high in this election. Hundreds of thousands of people across this state have already mailed in their ballots, and in just 8 days, early vote sites are going to open across our state, and voters will begin to vote in person. It's on all of us to organize our communities and get folks out to the polls. Together, with your help, we'll put this seat back to work for the people of North Carolina. And I'll be fighting each and every day to earn the votes of North Carolinians and not take a single vote for granted. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. God bless you, and God bless our great state.
Thank you, Cal, for being with us this evening. And hello, everyone. I am Carly Jones, and I'm your host for the rest of tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Green Tie Awards. If you're tweeting about what you hear tonight, please use the hashtag Green Tie, and let's get this event trending. Remember, you can share this video with your friends on social media by clicking the Share Now button above if you're watching on Swell, or if you're watching on Facebook, you can click the Share button below. Let them know why they should tune in with you and why this organization's work is so important to you. And if you find yourself fired up and want to support this work, please give tonight. It's really easy. If you're watching on Swell, you just click the Donate Now button below the video. And if you're watching on Facebook, text NCLCV, that's NCLCV, to 41411. Thank you to our generous donors who are giving our work a boost as we speak. So I've noticed tonight already, we've got Albert Truitt-Ray, Pete Maysmith from National LCV, State Senator Michael Garrett, Bob Kingery from our board, and State Representative Christy Clark. Thank you so very much for your gift this evening, and encourage others to do the same. So, have you heard? If you haven't, you're living under a rock. I know I wake up every day thinking about this election. The election is only 27 days away, you all. 27 days. But voting is going on right now. And in the chat, we'd like you to share why you are voting this year. What is at stake for you? Share that with your neighbors, share that with your friends, encourage them to vote. The registration date for voting in the state of North Carolina is October 9th. It's quickly approaching. Share that. There are so many important reasons to cast your ballot, and this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime, as you know. So next, we're going to share some reasons others are turning out to vote in a video that we've all put together. After that, the NC LCV Director of Governmental Relations, Dan Crawford, will be up to introduce our first Green Tie Award winner of the night. But first, the video.
Because milk is expensive enough.
And school books aren't cheap.
Because I like my food local and my water clean.
Because the light bill keeps rising as my paycheck goes down.
Because I value the growth and clean air of my city.
My hometown.
Because there are more people going hungry here
than any other state.
Because I stood by and I said my vote doesn't matter. But now I see what's at stake.
Now I see what's at stake.
Now I see what's at stake.
Because the middle class is disappearing.
While we're all struggling to stay afloat.
So in November, no matter what, I'm going to turn out to vote. I'm going to turn out to vote.
I'm gonna turn out to vote.
I'm gonna turn out to vote.
I am going to turn out to vote. And so should you.
Our representative of the year is Brian Turner. I first met Brian in 2014, and again, I'm not surprised to see him today on this stage getting this award. In his 3 terms representing Buncombe County, Representative Turner has maintained a perfect mark on our scorecard and is a consistent environmental champion for our state. I'd like to add that he was replacing someone with a lifetime score of 7. And so we are so glad he is there fighting for Western North Carolina and the rest of the state. This year, he sponsored several bills to combat the harmful presence of PFAS in our drinking water, and it was also one of the mountain's biggest advocates in helping them secure a new state park. I'm happy to give Representative of the Year to Brian Turner, who I'm also happy to call a friend.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I want to thank the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters for honoring me as Representative of the Year. When I first ran for the State House in 2014, my district was home to the CPS Superfund site and 90 acres of Duke Energy's coal ash ponds. And while my predecessor had done nothing to protect the environment, in fact, worked to protect the polluters, but I grew up in these mountains and I grew up fishing and camping with my dad. And I want to make sure that natural beauty of Western North Carolina is here, not only for my daughter, but for generations to come. Now, over the past 6 years, I've worked alongside environmental stalwarts like Pricey Harrison, Chuck McGrady, and my very own senator and down the street neighbor, Terry Van Dyne. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Chuck for his incredible work on the Coal Ash Management Act. He took a beating from all sides, but communities across our state are cleaner and safer because of the hard work he did. But there's a lot more work to be done. As new evidence comes to light about the dangers of PFAS and neonicotinoids and other chemicals, we must do more than just react to the latest danger. We need to be enacting policies that don't just clean up the industrial messes of our past, but prevent the poisoning of our environment in the first place. And this is why NCLCV is so important to me and to the future of our state. Because not only does NCLCV help pro-environment candidates like me, but they're also an invaluable resource when legislation's flying through committee and last-minute committee substitutes and conference reports are rushed to the floor with little or no debate. Because I will tell you, on more than one occasion, I've looked at a new version of a bill, called Dan Crawford and asked, I'm reading the words, but what exactly does this bill do? Well, I, for one, am ready to no longer be on the receiving end of bad environmental policy or just claiming victory when we stop a bad bill or just water one down. I'm ready to be in the majority and ready to bring back the same energy and excitement to protecting our air and water as we saw in the early 2000s when Senator Steve Metcalf and Senator Martin Nesbitt passed the Clean Smokestacks Act, and then Attorney General Roy Cooper sued the TVA to stop polluting North Carolina. I want us to see more investments in renewable energy. I want us to step up and do the job the EPA won't when it comes to regulating chemical compounds. And I want to be sure that every person who visits or lives in North Carolina is able to breathe easy, relax, and enjoy the view. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and thank you to everybody at NCLCV.
Thank you, Representative Turner, for going to bat for our shared values, even when the odds are against you. Folks, when Representative Turner thanks NCLCV for this award, he's not just thanking Dan and the staff and Elizabeth and Nina and our board, he's thanking you. We are a membership-driven organization. We rely on you to amplify our message to your leaders. We rely on you to give generously to support this work. You are the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters. Remember that. We appreciate our members, new and renewed, like, I've got some names for you from this evening: Ken Griffin, Carol Ashcraft, Ben Aykroyd, and Helen Livingston. Thank you so much. Because of you, we've already raised, we've already raised $52,650. Wow. So thank you for chipping in. $5, $10, it all adds up. We appreciate your gift. Keep it coming, and remember to hashtag green tie if you're sharing this event with your friends. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you know me, you know the arts is very special and near and dear to my heart. I want to introduce you to my friend, Alexis Raeana. Alexis is a proud member of the Lumbee tribe from Robeson County, and she is deeply engaged in the fight for environmental justice. She will be gracing us with her brand new song, and we're so glad that she's agreed to be a part of this meaningful program this evening. After her performance, we'll kick it back over to Dan Crawford for our next Green Tie Award. And still to come later in the program, we have Governor Roy Cooper and Senator Cory Booker. But first, let's listen to the beautiful voice of Alexis Raeana.
What's up, everybody? My name is Alexis Raeana. Thank you, Green Tie Awards, for having me perform. Such a phenomenal event, such a phenomenal movement. Before I sing this song, my debut single, Keep My Memory, I just want to say that this environmental movement and environmental justice, I think it's very important that we point out that there is a correlation and between the missing or murdered Indigenous women movement as well as the climate change movement. So before I sing this song, I just wanted to say that and point out those intersections. So I hope you enjoy my debut single, Keep My Memory by Alexis Raeana featuring Charlie Lowry, dedicated to the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement.
Gotta get away though. Some things never change. It's coming through my veins. Nobody ever asked. Now you're running from the past. It's true. 'Cause I've had enough of your dirty little ego. Educated boy, you should know. After all the blood we paid, you college has for me. Give me all the liberty that's due. 'Cause I've had enough. Just set me free and keep my memory. Go down, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Tell the rhythm, let me flow. The dark rips you touch my soul. Enough of the shame. I'm tired of playing games. I got bigger, better things to do. 'Cause I've had enough. of when the red tears flow. Say the name of the page. I'm praying for change. This crimson dress is torn, and it's something I've been born into. 'Cause I've had enough. Just set me free and keep my memory. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Go now, can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high, oh Lord. Can't be knocked down. Rise up now, up high. To keep my memory, my pride, my power, my will. Give me liberty, your strength in my heart I feel. Give my memory, pride, my power, my will. Liberty, strength in my heart I feel. 'Cause I've had enough. Just set me free, but keep my memory. Thank you.
Our Senator of the Year award for 2020 is Harper Peterson. I'm not surprised to be here handing him this award. In his first term representing New Hanover County, Senator Peterson wasted no time going to bat for his constituents and our entire state. He earned a 100% score for being a vocal advocate for preventing PFAS pollution and holding chemours accountable, as well as raising awareness about the dangers of coal ash and poultry waste. In a very short time in the Senate, Senator Peterson is leaving his mark as a defender of the environment and one that will protect all North Carolinians' right to clean, healthy drinking water. Once again, our Senator of the Year, Harper Peterson.
Good evening to all my friends within the NC-LCV family. As a freshman senator, I introduced a number of environmental bills, knowing they would surely die in the Rules Committee. But the additional purpose was to establish with other legislators a broad and consequential foundation for future environmental action, to let the public know that help and environmental justice was on the way. For example, Senate Bill 518, a comprehensive response to Gen X and our drinking water crisis, and Senate Bill 516, a study bill to expose the unregulated poultry industry, a ticking environmental time bomb. Neither saw the light of day. Frustrated but undeterred, I tried a different tack. Co-sponsoring with Republican and House Senate colleagues, 2 formal lunch presentations. One provided data linking coal ash with thyroid cancer, and the other explored the lifelong health and economic damage caused by ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Both were well attended by both parties. It was encouraging. I concluded that when not under the watchful eye of caucus leadership, representatives were curious and receptive. It reminded me of my early 1960s and 70s, my generation coming of age, inspired by Rachel Carson and her seminal novel, Silent Spring. Our generation did great things. We established the EPA, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Endangered Species Act, and we celebrated our first Earth Day in 1970. Our Congress, President, and citizens of all stripes were united around one universal truth. Our fragile environment needed rescue. Today, 50 years later, this is the only path forward. Science and reason, civil debate, common sense, and a commitment to a higher cause. All parties acting as one, with urgency and resolve. As we see our globe battered by wildfire, heat waves, and drought, rising sea levels and rampant viruses, as we watch our federal agencies systematically dismantle scores of climate and environmental regulations, we must fight back. No challenge too big, no effort too small, no voice, regardless of party, ignored. Think globally, act locally. That is our battle cry once again. I will end with a melancholy but instructive passage from the Canadian poet, Joni Mitchell. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain. And we have got to get ourselves back to the garden. Tonight, I am proud to be a member of the NCLCV as we get ourselves and our world back to the garden. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peterson, for those words and those remarks, and congratulations. And thank you again to Alexis Raeana for that powerful performance. Be sure to follow her work if you want to learn more about her environmental justice work. So let's get back to the garden, y'all. Let's give everything we have over the next 27 days so that we can unite behind that common purpose that Senator Peterson outlined. Respecting experts and using science to form policies that will protect our health and our well-being, especially for the many Indigenous communities in North Carolina and other communities of color who have been disproportionately affected, especially during these times. It is our job to fight together for our fellow North Carolinians by electing leaders who will put people first, not polluters. We can do that with our votes, and we can do that with our wallets. If you haven't yet given tonight, let me give you another reason. Everyone who gave before the event and everyone who gives during the event will be entered into a drawing for prizes, including a stay at the beautiful Blockade Runner Coastal Resort, thanks to our generous board member, Mary Baggett. Thank you, Mary. So click that donate button or get out your phone and text NCLCV to 41411. I'm sure it's also in the chat. So once again, text NCLCV to 41411. Thank you to those who have already done so. I have some more names here to call out as a thank you. State Representative Brandon Lofton, Tom Bean, Talton Gibson, Francis Jones. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your gifts. Joining us next is someone who has been in this fight for a very long time and who usually comes down to Raleigh every year to speak at our Green Tie event in person. He's going to lay out for us why North Carolina is the epicenter of November's election, the most important state in our country at every level of the ballot. And that's why your support for our work will make such a big difference. Give it up for the president of the National League of Conservation Voters, Gene Karpinski.
Hello, folks. Great to see you all again. Great program this evening. You know, it's the first time, I realize it's the first time in 6 months I've actually put a tie on, but of course I had to get my green tie out for this special event. I think I've been at least 10 of the green tie events over the last decade, and I miss being there and miss seeing so many great people, both pieces of North Carolina LCV, the larger family, the board, the staff, and so many supporters and friends. It's much more fun in person, but glad to be part of this conversation. And, you know, I've been talking to folks around the country about what's going on November 3rd, and I would say it's the most important election of my lifetime for sure, probably for most of you as well, because so much is at stake. So much, the values we care about, the environment we care about, the special places we care about, the climate change crisis, all of that is on the ballot across the country this year. But as I say that, there is no more important state than the state of North Carolina. The stakes are high everywhere, the most important election of our lifetime. But in North Carolina, you've got elections up and down the ballot that can help determine the future, not just of your state, but frankly, the entire country. And you know this, but I'll say it anyhow, because all eyes are on North Carolina on November 3rd. And for all you folks who are voting early, make sure you vote early if you can, whether that's in person or by mail or at a drop box. So yes, There's a hotly contested presidential race in that state of North Carolina. A lot's at stake there. I don't need to tell you all about that, but we have the most anti-environmental president in history, so lots at stake there. There's a Senate race. I've had a chance to meet Cal Cunningham at some of your events, your green tie events when I first met him. There's a really important Senate race in your great state. And yes, your governor on the ballot again this year, one of the most pro-environment governors across the country. That race is on the ballot as well. Even further down the ballot, there are a handful of states across the entire country that have the chance to create more pro-environment state legislatures. Your state house and your state senate have the chance to be pro-environment. Some of the leadership to date has been some of the most anti-environmental in the entire country. You have a chance to change that. So from the presidential level to the Senate level to the state legislature level to the governor level, and yes, even electing new members of the House of Representatives in the U.S. Congress. At all those levels, key races are on the ballot in North Carolina. So it's great to partner with North Carolina LCV and all the work they're doing, both on the C3 side, registering voters, on the C4 side, doing all kinds of, and their other PAC, doing all kinds of work that they do to make sure voters turn out. It's a great partnership. You've got a great soft-spoken but fearless leader in Carrie. You've got a great team of people on the ground, knocking on doors virtually this time, but really important communicating with voters across the state. You've got a great board. Again, all eyes on North Carolina. We need to win big this election to send a strong signal nationally and in your state that voters care about the environment. So thanks for being a part of this event. It's a really important event. Make sure you vote. Ideally, vote early, in person, or by mail. Everything's at stake. All eyes are on North Carolina. Thanks for being here, folks.
See, y'all? All eyes are on us right now, North Carolina. What we do here tonight and in the days to come will decide the future of the state and our entire country. So spread the word. Click share above or below the video and tell your friends to hop on and get involved in our work with you. We're about halfway through the program, but the best is yet to come. Coming up soon, we've got a youth climate activist, some more Green Tie Awards, and of course, Cory Booker. But our next guest is Nash County's favorite son, an environmental champion who has been a breath of fresh air since taking office at the stroke of midnight on New Year's in 2017. He wrestled control of the governor's mansion from a Duke Energy employee who never met a regulation he didn't want to slash. Our speaker has spent the last 3+ years sticking up for us. When our current president wanted to drill for oil off of our shores, this man stood up and joined us in shouting, "Not off our coast." When Duke Energy tried to get out of cleaning up their coal ash mess, he said, "Nuh-uh." When Chemours poisoned our drinking water with Gen X, he held them accountable. And now he's put out a clean energy plan that will tackle our climate crisis by making our state carbon neutral by 2050. He's going to need some more backup to get that done, which is part of why we're all here tonight. Your support will build the NCLCV's legislative Green Caucus into a majority caucus, and then to help the caucus get to work with our next speaker to move a positive environmental agenda forward. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know who I'm talking about. Let's give our great governor, Roy Cooper, a round of applause.
Hi, everybody. Roy Cooper here. I'm honored to help support the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters because they're making a real difference. I hope you'll join or renew your membership tonight. It'll help make North Carolina green and clean. The award winners have done so much to protect our environment. My good friends Harper Peterson, Brian Turner, and Jay Chaudhuri are real leaders on these issues. And I look forward to working with them and the rising stars who are already making a mark in their first terms. I want to give a special shout out to former legislators Chuck McGrady, Floyd McKissick, and Terry Van Dyne. They're continuing their public service in other ways, which will help advance the cause of clean energy and transportation. We're less than 4 weeks until we make stark choices between two very different visions of our future. At so many levels, we face a choice between science and denial, and between governing for all and governing for a few. Make a plan to vote and help your friends and family do the same. There is too much at stake to sit this one out. In the last 2 years, my vetoes have been upheld, and we've been able to stop some bad legislation. Now I'm asking North Carolinians to give me another 4 years, along with some more future green tie rising stars, to put NCLCV's Green Caucus at the helm of our General Assembly. We'll tackle climate change, advance my clean energy plan, protect people from Gen X and coal ash, and build a stronger economy with clean energy jobs. I can't wait. Thanks so much.
We can't wait either, Governor Cooper. Let's join Governor Cooper in this fight. Give what you can. Get your name on that screen and hear me read it out. Be like Susanna Tuttle from North Carolina Interfaith Power and Light, State Representative Ashton Clemens, and David Bowes, and let's see, Sam Hummel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So share this with everyone. Give. We appreciate all of the gifts. No gift is too small, and every dollar counts. Climate change is real. It touches us all. For some in power, that's still a controversial statement. Can you even believe that? It's 2020, but we know it's real. We see it happening every single day. And we know that human beings are causing it. Some humans are having a bigger impact than others. And some are being impacted more than others. Frontline communities, like our communities of color and low-income communities, whose neighborhoods often lack the infrastructure to support them and who will be increasingly vulnerable as our climate deteriorates. And of course, our youth, who will have to contend with the consequences of our actions unless we stop this madness and give them the future that they deserve. Our next guest, Jasmine Gregory, is a young North Carolinian who is not only a leader among her peers, but also a leader for our state. She has been involved with the Alliance for Climate Change, for the Alliance for Climate Education, otherwise known as ACE, since high school, speaking to decision makers across the state and nationally. And now she serves on Governor Cooper's Clean Energy Plan Commission. Take it away, Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Gregory, and I'm a senior fellow with the Alliance for Climate Education, and I'm also a student at North Carolina State University. The Alliance for Climate Education is a nonprofit organization that works to educate and empower youth and young adults and also students around the issues concerning the climate crisis and the democracy. Since 2008, ACE has been able to educate and empower over 15 million young people. You heard that, over 15 million young people. And they've also been able to educate and empower thousands of youth climate activists through their Action Fellowship program. I was a part of the Action Fellowship program in high school, and I was able to hone in on those skills surrounding climate advocacy, organization, public speaking, and more. I was able to develop my professional and public skills, and I was able to participate in climate hearings, climate marches, and also be able to collaborate with local organizations on efforts surrounding the clean, equitable, just future that we all want to see. ACE has also expanded their civic engagement, and they've been able to reach over 15 million first-time youth voters. This is a big deal because this November we have an election coming up and we need all the votes we can get. We want people to be educated and involved about their vote, and we want people to make decisions that are the best decisions for all of us, for our planet, and for our future. So if you're looking to get involved with voting, we want to encourage you to make sure that you seek out those opportunities, that you educate yourself about those candidates, and that you figure out what is the best option, not only for you, but for all of us. I've been able to stay connected with ACE since high school, and I've been able to have the opportunity to be a part of the governor's Clean Energy Plan Commission Committee. And it's been an amazing opportunity because it's been a reminder to me that people are encouraged, that people care about the youth, that they care about our voice, they care about our actions, and they care about what we care about. And we care about our future. So if you're a young person out there, I just want to encourage you and remind you that your voice matters, your vote matters, and your actions matter. If you're looking to get involved, don't wait now. Just take that step, put yourself out there and get involved, because what you have and what you bring to the table matters. So if you're looking to get involved, do that. I just want to encourage you. And I just want to thank you even now for all that you're going to do, because we need you. We all need you, and we got to do this together.
I don't know about y'all, but I think NCLCV might be bringing Jasmine back up here at a future Green Tie Awards as our next governor or maybe senator. But first, we have to make sure we leave our state in a good enough shape for her and her generation. Remember what we said in our cycle of accountability video earlier? Together, we will protect North Carolina from the mountains to the coast for generations to come. That's our mission. Our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandchildren deserve to live a healthy life in this beautiful state that we all call home, from Murphy to Manteo, from Hyde County to Henderson County. And speaking of Henderson County, our next speaker is returning to his Western North Carolina roots tonight. But before we bring him up, a shout out to Emily Wegman, Betsy Bickle, James Womble, and Ann Storm. You're the real MVPs. Thank you for your donations. If you want to join them and be recognized, just click Donate Now below or text NCLCV to 41411. So we are now sitting at $53,346, I think. Yes, we are. And I think we can do probably 5,000 more over the remaining 10-ish minutes of our program. I've got good news to help us get there. A generous supporter has agreed to match any donations up to $2,500 for the rest of the night. If you give $5, it becomes 10. If you give 20, it becomes, well, you get the point. Will you take us up on this generous offer and give tonight? While you're doing that, let's hear from our next guest who ran for president earlier this year, promising bold action on climate change. Last year, he co-founded the Senate Environmental Justice Caucus, and this summer, along with Senator Tammy Duckworth and our next Vice President, Kamala Harris, who we all are wanting to see later this evening, he filed for the Environmental Justice for All Act. Please welcome to your screen the junior senator from the Garden State, Senator Cory Booker.
Hello, North Carolina League of Conservation Voters. I'm Cory Booker, and I want to thank you so much for giving me a few moments to speak with you, to share heart with you during this urgent moment in not just North Carolina history, but American and world history. I love North Carolina. I would not be sitting here right now if it wasn't for my father growing up in the mountains of North Carolina, Hendersonville, North Carolina. My father was he used to tell me, he goes, boy, I was born poor. In fact, I wasn't poor. I was just P-O. I couldn't afford the other two letters. But my dad talked about the mountains of North Carolina, and I grew up vacationing there all the time and swimming in Lake Lure and more. But we know that North Carolina is at a pivotal moment. It is the epicenter of our fight for climate change. It is the epicenter and birthplace, really, of the larger fight for the modern environmental justice movement. I think we have work to do to honor those efforts, and everywhere from Warren County, North Carolina, to Duplin County, North Carolina, where we see what is at stake. We see the consequences of either our actions or our inaction. We have the power right now to make a change. And what I believe is one of the most important focal points of the environmental justice movement and the larger climate change efforts that we have going on. And so I just want to encourage everybody to work hard in these final days. We may be fearful, but we got to turn our fear into fight. We may be worried, but we've got to turn our worry into work. God, there's a lot to be agonizing over, but we've got to turn our agonizing into organizing and mobilizing, because we need a pro-environment majority in the North Carolina state government. And that means from Governor Cooper to the General Assembly, we must win, not for those individuals, but win for the environment. And I'll tell you right now, I think that the pathway to getting a pro-environment majority in the United States Senate, sending Mitch McConnell back to the minority, also goes through North Carolina with the critical race of Cal Cunningham. And so I am excited that my father's state, the great state of North Carolina, holds such potential and possibility to rekindle hope, to resurrect the promise of this nation and what we can do to leading the planet out of this crisis. Thank you for your commitment. I will match yours with my work as well, not just in this election, but in legislating around environmental justice and around climate change, bold actions to help to make sure that we have the true victory we seek, which is environmental security, environmental justice, and much better tomorrows ahead. Thank you, everyone.
The Defender of the Environment for 2020 is Senator Jay Chaudhuri. Wake County Senator Jay Chaudhuri has earned a 100% score in each of his first 2 terms in the Senate. As a rising leader in the caucus, he is focused on challenging big energy and polluters while advocating for expanded, affordable, renewable energy solutions. In 2019, Senator Chaudhuri led the successful fight against Duke Energy rate hike bill that would have allowed them to expand rates without going before the Utilities Commission. In a very short time in the Senate, Senator Chaudhuri has clearly become an environmental leader and a defender of the environment. I'm happy to give this award to my friend, Jay Chaudhuri.
I want to thank the League of Conservation Board and staff, including Kerry Clark and Dan Crawford, for their leadership for receiving this award tonight. And I was honored to receive the Green Tie Award during my first term in the Senate when I made my first ever floor speech about why algae eating mussels simply can't clean up Jordan Lake. And I'm honored to receive this award tonight. This award means a lot to me. It means a lot because I remain committed to protecting our environment for my 2 young children who get lost in the beauty of the beaches every summer and who enjoy the stunning colors of the Blue Ridge every fall. It means a lot because I'm inspired by a new generation of leaders in the General Assembly who are committed to Governor Cooper's clean energy plan. And it means a lot because I believe how we respond to our climate change over the next decade will be absolutely critical. We need bold and forward-looking leadership in the General Assembly to do that. And I believe it can be a win-win for us. It can be a win to protect our environment, and it can be a win to make North Carolina a leader in clean energy, not just in the South, but all across the country. And that means that we can create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in both urban and rural areas. With the League of Conservation Voters' support and leadership, I believe that we can achieve this goal together over the next decade. We can protect our environment and we can accelerate our green economy. And so, again, I am honored to receive this award tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting to work in January of 2021.
Yes, thank you so much, Senator Booker and Senator Chaudhuri, for your remarks and being with us virtually this evening. Next up, we're going to hear from PowerUp organizers, followed by the recipients of our final 3 Green Tie Awards. Let's get to those.
PowerUp is a statewide team of community members, organizers, and leaders whose values are rooted in environmental, economic, and racial justice. We organize grassroots campaigns and create community-led solutions driven by the people. By transforming our relationship to each other and in the environment, we can create opportunities for frontline communities to thrive by having access to jobs, affordable housing, low-cost utilities, and more, while also being front and center in making decisions and developing solutions in the democratic process.
I joined PowerUp because I care about my community, and I want my voice to be heard. And PowerUp gave me that ability to do that.
I support PowerUp for its awesome, justice-oriented work in and around my community.
I feel that organizing can build a sense of dignity, restore people's sense of significance and relevance. Community members often tell us, what I do can matter. Organizing helps you learn how to build alliances across lines of race, ethnicity, class, and age group. PowerUp recognizes the greater strength those alliances can bring to communities.
Hola, yo estoy con PowerUp porque yo quiero que la comunidad latina sea escuchada. Quiero que mi comunidad alce la voz y que seamos escuchados los latinos también.
I am with PowerUp because I want to promote environmental change in our community.
I'm with PowerUp because I believe in community-driven change.
I am with PowerUp to unite communities through public education.
I am with PowerUp to build resilience and awareness.
I'm with PowerUp to establish sustainability in our communities.
I am with PowerUp NC to build a just transition in our local communities.
I'm with PowerUp to call out the injustices of inequity and inequality in our communities.
Join us in advancing North Carolina's just transition to a clean energy economy.
Our Jane Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Representative Chuck McGrady. Representative McGrady is finishing his 5th and final term representing Henderson County after having recently been appointed to the State Board of Transportation. He has been a champion in the House and his caucus, advancing clean air, clean water, and public land protections for the people of North Carolina. He has led the fight for both good measures like the landmark 2014 coal ash bill and has been a backstop for some of the worst proposed measures, which he has stopped from becoming law. Before his decade in the legislature, Representative McGrady volunteered his time and skills to protect our natural resources. He served a term as the first and only Republican president of the National Sierra Club, along with stints as chair of the North Carolina and Georgia chapters. Representative McGrady has also led the Clean Water Management Trust Fund, the Environmental Conservation Organization of Henderson County, and the Carolina Mountain Land Conservancy. As part of his work, he brought North Carolina's hugely popular DuPont State Forest into public ownership. Again, I'm happy to award the Jane Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award to Representative Chuck McGrady.
Thanks for honoring me with the Jane Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award. I ran for the North Carolina House because of my environmental values and with the hope that I could protect our air and water and other natural resources. And as in my service, I'm proud of my record, although there's still a lot to be done. I'm most proud of the first in the nation coal ash management law that is being effectively used to clean up coal ash basins across the state. Pricey and I were teamed up on that in the House to garner bipartisan support, and DEQ under Secretary Michael Regan has effectively used that law to force the cleanup of the coal ash basins across the state. While I've worked on a wide range of issues, aside from coal ash, including funding the conservation trust funds to dealing with PFAS contamination in our water, I've successfully fought efforts to do away with the state's electronic recycling program, and I've passed legislation expanding our state's trail system. I guess my only advice to those of you who care about protecting the environment is your need to be engaged. You need to spend time developing a relationship with your legislators. Most legislators don't arrive in Raleigh with my background or Pricey's background in environmental protection. Environmental advocates need to develop and nurture a relationship with policymakers. Relationships are still critical, particularly in this COVID-19 period. So again, thank you for the award recognizing my work. I look forward to continuing that work in some other capacities. Thank you.
This year, I am happy and saddened to be given the Joe Award to two great friends of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters. The Joe Award was established in honor of former Speaker Joe Hackney, and we award that to members of the General Assembly who are retiring and will not be back. This year, we're happy to give those awards to past Green Tie Award winners Floyd McKissick and Terry Van Dyne. We will miss them dearly in the Senate, and we thank them for all their work. And this is just one last way that we can show them our appreciation for all they did for North Carolina's environment. Thank you, Senator McKissick and Senator Van Dyne, for all your hard work. The 2020 list of rising stars, I wish we could have every one of them up on stage and speak, but I'm happy to report that list is way too long. This is one of the biggest classes of rising stars that we have ever awarded in the history of the Green Tie Awards. And I just want to thank each and every one of them for all they have done in their first terms as members of the State House and State Senate. I also know that many of these people will be back at future Green Tie Awards to claim their other awards that I know is in their future, whether it be Senator or Representative of the Year or Defender of the Environment. This class is phenomenal to work with, and I can't wait to see what their future has in store for them. Thank you all for your hard work, and mainly thank you for making my job so easy inside the legislative building.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing evening. Thanks to all of our Green Tie awardees, to everyone who tuned in, everyone who shared our event on social media, everyone who spoke, and especially everyone who made a gift. We raised nearly $54,000 because you believe in our work, and we appreciate you. It has definitely been my pleasure to be your host. I hope you're leaving tonight energized to keep momentum going through November 3rd and beyond. And if you haven't already, make your plan to vote. Stay involved by visiting our website at nclcv.org and signing up for more important email updates. Follow us on all social media, and together we can make the change we need to build a political environment that protects our natural environment and our people. Now, I know we all have a vice presidential debate to get to tonight. I know I do. So go get to that. Thank you so much for being with us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.